From the ECSI Sports Studios and the #1 sports investors in America, we bring you the Closing Bell. As the market closes, legends Jeff Dawson and Riley Magnuson bring you all the sports investing tips for tonight's matchups. If you want to learn more from the two legends at the desk, make sure you stay tuned to the Closing Bell. ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all of your sports books and track all of your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You can also sign up for sportsbooks and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as they're the best account on the platform. Head to the App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire to download the app.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, sports fans from around the globe. This is East Coast Sports Investors Closing Bell for Monday, March 4th. I am your solo host for this fine evening, Riley Magnuson. Going to be rocking all things NBA and college basketball for tonight's action here on Monday. Not a huge slate, so going to be, as I typically say, pretty short and sweet regardless of how large the slate is. But one way or another, we're going to be out of here in probably less than 20 minutes or so here. Little disclaimer, I've got some potentially nasty weather headed my way here. I've got the weather on, trying to be on the lookout for some potential tornado watches. So if my internet goes out, if I just leave and end this thing, that's why. Because I got to watch out for myself. I got a window right next to me here. Nothing to be too concerned about here imminently, it seems like. And I think I'll be fine here for 20, 30 minutes or so. But nonetheless, bears mentioning because it is a little concerning here. And it's getting a little dark and gray and a little nasty a little early here. So not going to be dragging on here too much here for that reason there and keeping my eye on the weather there. But aside from that, we've got 6 or 7 NBA games, only a couple of college basketball games that I'm going to be talking about here tonight. It's been a while since I've been on here on the show, so I'm happy to get ready to rock and roll. I believe I will be solo with you today and tomorrow. I will be off on Wednesday. Jeff and Brady Cannon have their new weekly show getting rolling off. I think this will be week 2 for their show together on Wednesday afternoons. And then as of right now, it looks like Jeff and I together Thursday, Friday, and potentially Saturdays. Obviously, as schedule permits, he's got some other shows on Friday as well. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it, my friends. Like I said, 6 or 7, I think it's 6 NBA games here tonight. Nothing that, 1 or 2 that are really worth watching. Nothing else that you need to be, locking into the TV for, just for some action necessarily. First one up, Memphis and Brooklyn. Memphis, obviously, in some rough sledding. They get Ja Morant back. Ja Morant goes out for the season here for the most part here, and now the Grizzlies are back to being kind of in the dumpster. They have lost 5 in a row, whereas Brooklyn, 4 or 6 of their last 10, they've treaded water a little bit after, obviously, a decent little start to the season. A rough stretch there these last handful of months. Now these last few weeks, like I said, kind of just treading water. So a little closer to a 500 team, if you will. And that's why you're seeing, this 9.5 is pretty damn hefty. I'm not sitting here interested in this Brooklyn team at 9.5, 10. It is quite a bit of a statement. You got a 206.5 total with a 9.5, 10. So kind of illustrating that the Memphis probably isn't going to be doing too much. But it's more in line and more indicative of what they've just, like I said, 5-game losing streak. The highest point total that they've scored in all 5 of those games is 101. You've got an 86-111 loss at home to Brooklyn, and now you're on the road to Brooklyn. So I do think the Memphis Grizzlies are in a rough spot here. I'm not saying I'm jumping into the deep end with the Memphis Grizzlies, but a lot of a lot of narratives that are kind of building against the Grizzlies here, and you kind of have to put this number this high, otherwise, people are going to be hammering the other side and probably taking advantage of it. I do think there's a good chance that this could land right around here. Wouldn't shock me if the Grizzlies had something up their sleeve, but their firepower right now is it's good enough to be putting up less than 100 on a nightly basis here. So I'm going to be staying far away from this one. I don't think you should be, like I said, cannonballing into the deep end with the Brooklyn Nets because they still are, at best right now, a team that's treading water, playing 500 basketball. Still well below that on the season necessarily, but they've won 3 of their last 4, so getting a little bit of a boost here with the way they're playing right now, on top of the Grizzlies being absolutely abysmal these last handful of days. So I'm going to be staying away from it. Wouldn't shock me if the Grizzlies had something up their sleeve. I'll just put that out there and say, maybe the Grizzlies find a way to cover this one. Maybe they lose by 30 again. Who knows? But I'm staying far away from that one. The game of the night for sure here. Clippers and Bucks in Milwaukee, 39-20, 40-21. Milwaukee, after the All-Star break, they have gotten themselves kind of back on track here. The one thing, obviously, to note is Giannis is listed as questionable right now. A Milwaukee team has 3.5, 4-point favorites. Would be leaning towards my assumption being that he plays. If he doesn't, that number should change. If he doesn't play, if he's ruled out, then the Bucks are still, 3 or higher favorites. Then something is going on there, and somebody knows something we don't. Going to suggest that that probably means that he's playing here tonight. I don't know. I don't have a lean in this game. This Bucks team, like I said, they've been playing a lot better defensively. Took care of business against some lesser teams here and there. After the All-Star break, though, on the road, first couple of games at Minnesota, at Philly, and playing really, really well defensively there, which is obviously a massive shift from where they were, and was the reason why they were obviously not in turmoil because they were still a top 3 seed in the East, but obviously firing their coach, bringing Doc Rivers in, and Doc Rivers, the first couple of weeks being a little hectic. This Clippers team is really, really solid. After the All-Star break, haven't gotten the wheels or the rust completely off or whatever you want to call it. They're 2-2 in their last 4 here. Minnesota and Washington these last 2, 89-88 win. Been a while since we've seen a score like that at Minnesota yesterday night. So this is night 2 of a back-to-back for the Clippers. Bucks have a little bit of a rest advantage. That's why you're seeing this spread, I think. So I will go ahead. I don't know if I want to lean necessarily too hard here. I'll lean on the Clippers. Would always respect the Bucks more at home, especially when they're on a nice little winning streak and starting to get that respect back. Would feel confident in them if their number was a little bit higher than this. Of course, the Clippers are good, but like I said, the Bucks are back on track. So I'm going to lean towards this Clippers team as a short dog here tonight. Obviously, again, got to see what Giannis is doing if he's in or out. But I would have respected this Bucks team a little bit higher than that with a 5-game winning streak under their belt at home here. So I'm going to go to the Clippers here tonight. That one's on NBA TV, 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. I don't think we really care too much about this Blazers and Wolves game. 14-point spread here. We can mostly skip past this one. 210 on the total. The Blazers have gotten their last couple games. Not quite as bad as that bottom 2-3 teams in the league, but in a class, still that second tier of bad teams for sure here. Wolves have dropped their last 2. Mentioned last night, 88-89 loss to the Clippers at home. Looking to get a bounce-back win here, but at the 14, it's not something I'm trying to dive into here, and I'm sure nobody's really trying to watch that game there. The one that was a little concerning, there are some guys out for the Jazz, so that is definitely a reflection of why you're getting this line here. Jazz 5.5-point spread at home against the Washington Wizards. Again, it is a Jazz team that's obviously not lighting the world on fire. They are not playing well right now either, so I do think this line is, for the most part, it's fair, but you're playing against a Wizards team that is about as bad as it gets right now. They have lost 14 in a row. Obviously not tops on the season with what the Pistons did earlier, but I mean, these other teams, the Pistons, the Spurs, not good by any means, but they are at least winning 2-3 games per 10 games, whereas this Wizards team is kind of rock bottom. So to see 5.5 against a team that is 14-game losing streak, yes, Lauri Markkanen appears to be out tonight. So the Jazz are a little bit thin here, but they still got a decent amount of their guys here. They are at home, and again, this is a 14-game losing streak. Wizards team 9-51. So definitely buyer beware on the Jazz. This could be. I'm not saying you don't want to get in front of the streak, as what we always say, but I would not be diving too far deep into the weeds with this Wizards team. I mean, for as bad as the Pistons were, these two teams are dead even now, 9-51. So back off of the Jazz and back off of that fade the Wizards train. Not saying you need to hammer the Wizards money line, but there's a chance it could end tonight and the Wizards get a win under their belt tonight. Last one up in the NBA, OKC and the Lakers. Lakers are the home team, 1.5-point dogs at home tonight, 238.5 on total, big total there. Kind of right around as far as total wise where the Lakers have been lately. Same with the Thunder as well here. Thunder playing really solid ball after the All-Star break. Lakers also playing decent ball, 33-29. Starting to climb up a little bit. You've got a questionable cue there for LeBron tonight, so obviously one to watch there. But the one thing that I'm looking at here, Lakers have won each of the last two, so 2 out of 3 this season, each of the last 2. One in OKC, one in LA. Last one a few weeks ago, actually a month and a half ago. I'm blanking on my days here. 3-point dogs at home against the Thunder in mid-January there. So now down at 1.5. Lakers did win that one, so probably getting a little bit of love there. I'll lean towards maybe this Lakers team getting a win here tonight, but it's not anything that I'm over the moon about. I think that number's pretty decent with where the Lakers are and where they've been playing at home lately in the season here, whereas Thunder's still taking care of business, but obviously not as good on the road as they are at home. So I'll lean towards the Lakers, but it's a soft lean on that one there to close out the NBA. So moving on over to 2 games to talk about in college basketball tonight. Couple of, I think there's a good chance one of these 2 teams is going to get upset here tonight. You've got a road favorite and a home favorite here, both right around 6.5. Obviously, the one that I think a lot of people are anticipating and looking at as a potential upset spot is Duke NC State. Not only wanting Duke to lose, I'm sure, but you've got Duke looking ahead potentially to I want to say it's Saturday, but their next game, upcoming game, either Saturday or Sunday, is against UNC. Obviously, trying to get their revenge. That one is at Duke, whereas NC State put up a tough fight the other day at UNC themselves. They've got Pitt on the horizon. So this is a good final, probably going to get their NC State's best shot. We've had a couple of these like this, though, where, the world kind of thinks this is the time for NC State to get the upset, and the better team kind of flexes their muscles a little bit. Not saying that NC State can't cover, and not saying they can't win either, because they absolutely can. Duke has kind of had a good handle on this. Outside, they did split last year, and NC State got the win as 5-point dogs at home. Would like this one to be a little bit in that 5 or less range if I was really, really feeling confident about NC State. Again, not saying it can't happen. Duke has been playing really, really good defensively lately, and that's what got them there. So I'm actually going to say, as far as covering, I don't know. NC State could absolutely cover this one, but I'm going to pump the brakes on NC State tonight. I do think you should be pump the brakes, and with all the reasons why Duke could lose this game, you should also pump the brakes on them. But my point is, I don't think it's as glaring of a situation for NC State here to rise above the occasion and knock off Duke here. So it could happen. I'm just saying maybe pump the brakes here, and I'm interested in Duke to take care of business here tonight. Texas and Baylor is the other one in college basketball tonight. This one is at Baylor. Home favorite Baylor. 6.5, 7-point favorites at home for Baylor. Last 2 in the win column. Last one at home against Kansas over the weekend as 4.5-point favorites. Now jumping up to 6.5, 7-point favorites here at home against Texas. Texas obviously gets the win in their home court back in January, a month and a half ago or so, 75-73. As 2.5-point favorites. Now Baylor looking to get that revenge, obviously. Again, this one, I'm not saying Texas is going to win, but I think Texas puts up a really good fight here. We've been seeing this Texas team is really, really solid lately. Really, their only 2 issues have been Kansas and Houston. Don't quite put Baylor in that same company, and outside of a fantastic win against Kansas, I think you could see Baylor come back down to earth a little bit here, and Texas put up a really good fight and maybe keep this one close. So I'm going to go and lean on Texas to cover and for this game to come down to it. I'm not going to say Texas gets the upset, but I think it'll come down to the very end of this game here, and it'll be an exciting one to watch. So give me Texas and the points tonight in Baylor to handle business, at least against the spread there. So I mentioned it. Going to be short and sweet tonight, my friends. I don't have anything to help you out with NHL. Almost time for MLB season, and obviously, if you're a golf fan, you saw Eckroat get the W after some delays at the Cognizant Classic in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. The next one up for the golf tournament, golf cycle, at least in the PGA, is the Arnold Palmer tournament. So obviously a big one there. But there's obviously more conversations to be had about golf and where the season is headed, and what the storylines to watch are with the two different leagues. So interested to see what the vibe is around Arnold Palmer tournament. Obviously one of the bigger ones, one of the after the Waste Management, kind of and the Genesis, I guess. One of the other bigger ones before the majors. So curious to see what the fan reaction and fan vibe is for this upcoming week in golf. But aside from that, I don't have too much else to give you. We've got UFC this weekend. At some point, we'll probably break down a little bit of that. Sean O'Malley, Marlon Vera, Dustin Poirier fighting on the co-main event there. Kevin Holland. So some really good fights this weekend in the UFC cycle there. So excited to talk about that as the week gets closer, as Saturday gets closer. But obviously we've got plenty of college basketball to break down over these next few weeks. So stay tuned. We will have you locked and loaded. Thank you all for stopping by today. Hoping I can dodge some storms here these next couple of hours in the old Midwest here. But aside from that, I will go ahead and get on out of here. Catch me tomorrow about the same time for another solo closing bell to talk all things Tuesday night action. But aside from that, I will go ahead and get on out of here, and I will see y'all later. Best of luck tonight, my friends.